TBC News now presents a special report. Drugs, a really terrible, rotten, horrible plague scourge. Good day, I'm Doug White.
And I'm Patricia Baldwin, welcoming you to TBC News.
Today we relentlessly continue to focus on yet another in our series of special reports. Drugs, a really terrible, rotten, horrible plague scourge. As you must know by now, the drug crisis is by far the most important problem in America and the world today. We know it is. We're TBC News. And this is our latest update on the subject. Drugs. A really terrible, rotten, horrible plague scourge. We wish we could share some optimistic news with you regarding the war on drugs, but unfortunately the picture has gotten even bleaker. Not only does the use of drugs such as crack and cocaine show no sign of declining, but recently TBC News has found that a new drug is beginning to rear its ugly head. This newcomer is highly addictive, easily obtainable, and has chillingly dangerous side effects. The drug is mustard. Pat Baldwin has more on the story. Pat?
Thank you, Doug. Mustard surfaced on the drug scene recently. Last Thursday. The supply line appears to be clearly defined, coming out of Bogota, Colombia, entering the United States here in Des Moines, Iowa, which experts now cite as the mustard capital of the United States. But first, Colombia. The recent disturbances in Colombia used to be blamed on the cocaine crisis. This idea has, of course, been discredited. Mustard has been clearly identified as the sole reason for the outbreaks. But how does this affect us here in America? Here, in Des Moines, Iowa, the mustard capital of the United States. We now go to our on-the-spot reporter, Ralph Bitterman. Ralph?
Thanks, Bob. Pat, I'm Ralph Bitterman, on the spot, live, on location, in the thick of things, because I'm dedicated. Well, Pat, mustard seems to be getting in the U.S. by plane. They're using coffee seeds to throw off the drug-sniffing dogs, although there have been two enormous drug busts over the past 3 days. The problem is not getting better. As a matter of fact, it's getting far worse. It's obvious that mustard is here to stay. Today, mustard busts, or bustards as they're now called, is one of several to have transpired this week. Mustard, usually pre-packaged for efficiency and freshness, goes for about $20 an ounce. The drugs are analyzed to make sure they are, in fact, actually mustard. There are several methods to do this, all of which must be performed before the alleged mustard peddlers may be indicted. And the mustard scene is frightening on many local schools and campuses. Drake University, for example, now has hired extra security guards to limit the amount of mustard students may have on their food. Mustard is legal only in microscopic quantities and only if it's used as a condiment. Bob?
Ralph, at the mustard bust we've just seen...
Bustard.
Pardon?
The term for a mustard bust is now bustard, Bob.
I prefer not to use that term, Ralph.
To each his own, Bob.
Yes. Ralph, how big was the bust? The drug bust that we've just witnessed?
The police seized about 20 pounds of mustard and some 4 pounds of raw mustard seeds.
From which the mustard is eventually processed?
That's correct, Bob.
Thank you, Ralph.
That's what I'm here for, Bob.
Well, good. Continuing our report, we turn to TBC science correspondent, Mr. Analysis. Mr. Analysis, what is so horrible about the drug mustard?
Well, Bob...
Doug. The name is Doug.
Douglas, that which is real and that which is not, tell the two apart we cannot. And this is particularly true to someone who is on a mustard trip. Why do they do it? Well, it beats me. I would normally say it's all in the name of science, but I have no idea why anyone would willfully put this vile substance into his system. And there seems to be evidence that even respected news people may have ingested mustard, and right before going on the air, too.
There's no sure, the
There are only two effects of mustard, and they come in two stages. The first stage occurs after small quantities of intake, and it consists of the user believing he is Jack Nicholson's the Joker from the movie Batman. Although an undesirable circumstance, it is far preferable to the effects of heavy use. After several ounces of mustard has entered his or her system, the user turns into fruit. Doug?
Fruit?
Yes, and it's ripe, too.
What kind of fruit?
Well, virtually any kind. We've seen varieties ranging from everyday fruits, bananas, apples, grapes, to tropical fruits such as mangoes and kumquats. As clearly as we can tell, it is dependent on the individual's physiology.
How very interesting.
Yes.
Is there any cure on the horizon?
Nope.
None at all?
Nope. Well, horseradish has been found to minimalize the effects to a degree. The fruit stage doesn't last as long, for example.
So the effects are temporary?
Oh, yes, although while one is in the fruit stage, one is likely to be mistaken for actual fruit and eaten, which can be hazardous, for obvious reasons.
Thank you, Mr. Analysis. We now focus on so-called designer drugs, mustard derivatives. We've prepared a special report on one of these derivatives, gray Poupon.
This is Mandy Dodgefast here with the latest on mustard. A new breed of mustard addicts has surfaced recently, the users of gray Poupon. Here to answer the question, what is being done about this Poupon thing anyway, is the head of the Colonel Mustard Center for the Research of the Mustard Addicted. Dr. Boobski, can you tell us a little bit about this new and deadly offshoot of mustard, gray Poupon?
Well, of course, Mandy. Gray Poupon addiction is rather stupid. In fact, it is even more stupid than mustard addiction. As a matter of fact, I do not see why we are getting so worked up over a stupid thing. Well, what type of TV do people watch in this country anyway?
Well, can you tell us a bit about the symptoms of a mustard trip?
Sure. Gray Poupon, in the cases we have seen at the clinic, there are two notable differences. A gray Poupon addiction is much more hotter mustard, so the reaction is much more violent. At its outset, the user has a tendency to use and say stupid things, such as calling other people stupid, such as that hairdo. That's stupid. That stupid expression you have on your face. The second symptom is also stupid. It involves the user having involuntary muscle reactions in which they hit the nearest person on the head with any handy philosophy book. Oh, like this one.
Yeah.
The final symptom, which is also stupid, which is the same as regular mustard addiction, involves the user turning into a piece of fruit.
Well.
We then set in on an actual therapy session.
Welcome to our 37th meeting. I'd like to welcome our next addict to the group, Dr. Irving Boobski. Let's say hi to Dr. Boobski, everyone. Good. Now let's say hi to each other. Great. Would anyone like to start today? Dr. Boobski?
Thank you, Mr. Analysis. We will return to regular TBC programming after a special message from TBC President Reginald Tupperman. We take you now to his office live.